Hey, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for joining. Today I want to discuss the future of Dodge. This is a very, very sad day, I think, because of where Dodge is going, but I wanted to talk about it with you all now that I've had a couple weeks to think it over. And it's very important in this particular video for you to make comments because I need to see if my way of thinking is correct based on what you all think. So please put in the comments your thoughts on where Dodge is going and what's going on. So today, Dodge is making a big gamble. And what they're doing is they've decided that 2023 model year is the last year where you'll be able to get a V8 powered muscle car, Charger or Challenger. And of course, that's also the end of the supercharged Hellcat engines and so forth. Starting in 2024, they have announced a concept vehicle, which is called the Dodge Charger Daytona SRT Banshee. This is what they call e-muscle. It's going to be an electric muscle car. They will no longer have gas-powered V8-powered muscle cars in the Chargers or Challengers. And by the way, they have not announced a Challenger, so it sounds like this new Charger is the path forward for e-muscle and Dodge muscle cars. So in any event, I did want to talk about that. It's a big gamble for Dodge, as I mentioned. Dodge is part of an auto conglomerate now. Basically, they're owned by a European car conglomerate called Stellantis, and which also covers a bunch of other makers, including Maserati and Fiat and a whole bunch of others. So they are basically in charge of what happens with Dodge. Dodge, one of the iconic American muscle car companies, is now being run by a European company. And Stellantis, in particular, has said that they want to go all electric moving forward. So that's what we're stuck with. Basically, this new Dodge Charger, take a look for yourself. This is what it looks like. It actually, I think the design looks fantastic. It could easily be the evolution in the Dodge muscle car, even especially if it had a V8 engine. But in any event, it looks great. You kind of see the fastback, reminiscent of the old Dodge Chargers from the late 60s and early 70s. So I think it looks great. It has, as you can see, there's like a front spoiler that presumably would be for if you're going fast. The airflow would go up through that spoiler and keep the front end down for stability. The wheels look fantastic. Again, I think it's really a great looking car. The concept has two doors. So, we don't know if it's going to end up being a two-door model, if it's going to be a two-door and a four-door, just a four-door. We just don't know yet because this is a concept. My thoughts are that because this is a two-door model, this concept, that there won't be a Challenger, at least, not right away. I think this is it. The Charger will be the muscle car. It's from what we're hearing. It's going to be all-wheel drive, especially the Banshee version. And by the way, the Banshee is what they're going to be calling their top-of-the-line, super powerful drivetrain. Just like the Hellcat was the supercharged V8 top-of-the-line, and that basically designated the powertrain of the vehicle. For example, there was the Challenger Hellcat, the Charger Hellcat, the Dodge Durango Hellcat. So I think it'll be the same with this. There's going to be the Charger Daytona SRT Banshee, and who knows, maybe they'll put this powertrain in a Dodge Durango. Maybe it'll be a Durango Banshee. But again, we'll have to wait and see. Also, the talk out there is that there'll be more than one power level in the Charger. So there won't just be the Banshee. There will be, start off with a two-wheel drive version, possibly, and the two-wheel drive version will be less powerful, although electrics are powerful. I mean, the talk out there is that there may be like a 500 or so horsepower two-wheel drive electric, and then maybe the second level will be up in the 800 horsepower range. Probably that would start off have to be all-wheel drive, and then the top of the line Banshee could be, over 1,000 horsepower. And that's probably what it would be, because they are going to be competing with the high performance electric vehicles such as the Teslas, and in particular the Tesla Plaid. And the Tesla Plaid models are over 1,000 horsepower. And because Dodge wants to be the muscle car king, they are going to want to make their e-muscle the most powerful out there, the fastest out there. So that's it. One thing, it has this new logo called the Fratzog logo. It actually isn't a new logo. That Fratzog logo has been around since the 60s, and it came out sort of during the space age era. So this is supposed to be like a space age logo, and they're bringing it out again. And the one weird thing is, though, this e-muscle, and of course electric cars they don't have sound for the most part, like an internal combustion engine. There's no exhaust, but they're going to have they're taking that Fratzog logo, and it's a play on words. It's going to be a fratsonic chambered sound. So they're going to have a sound similar to an internal combustion engine, again, probably to soothe the desires of the muscle car crowd, thinking maybe this will win people over. I think it's a little ridiculous, but in any event, take a listen. This is what it sounds like. So that's the fratsonic chambered sound. Again, I think it's a little ridiculous. It's trying to make believe it's a V8 engine, but it's not. So why even bother? In any event, that's another thing I'd love to hear comments on and see what you all think of that. The other thing that most electric cars don't really need is a transmission. But this one is supposed to have what's called the erupt system, which is an electromechanical shifting system. And again, they're trying to probably soothe the desires of the muscle car crowd, who are used to, even if they're not shifting gears manually, they have a transmission that's shifting gears. And who knows, maybe they'll even in the future have a manual version of this to make it a little more fun. But again, that's another thing that they're doing, is having this erupt system, which is kind of like a transmission. So what does this mean for Dodge, especially as far as muscle cars go? Well, Ford has announced their 7th generation Mustang, which I think is coming out also in 2024. And the 7th generation Mustang will be powered by a V8 engine. So it will be a traditional muscle car. And I fear that the Dodge folks who, want a new muscle car, they're going to go to Ford. And why not? I mean, if you want a traditional V8 powered muscle car, that's where you would go. So I think, again, it's a big mistake. I don't see why there's any reason Dodge couldn't have done both. They couldn't have still had their V8 muscle cars and then started down the path of the e-muscle and let the market decide. That's what they should do. But Stellantis has dictated, because so many governments around the world have dictated, that we will transition to electric vehicles. Oh, one other thing. Tim Kuniskis, who really has been the advocate for the modern Dodge muscle cars, since the Challenger came out really in 2008. He's the one that really brought these to market, and the Hellcat engine, and just made Dodge an iconic muscle car brand. And now he is the one pushing these e-muscle cars and the Dodge Charger Banshee and so forth. Think about Tim Stellantis. Tim Kuniskis, he's a team player. He reminds me of Arnold Schwarzenegger when Arnold was at the heyday of making movies. Even if he made a bad movie, he would go on the talk shows and said, well, this is a fantastic movie. You got to watch it. It's one of my best movies out there. But of course, we know he was just being a marketeer and he was promoting. That's what I think Tim Kuniskis is doing. I have a feeling in reality he's going from gas-powered muscle cars to electrics, kicking and screaming. But we probably won't know that until after Tim eventually leaves Dodge and maybe writes a tell-all book about it. But in any event, that's where we're at. Now, there there are a number of issues regarding electric vehicles. First of all, I'm not anti-electric vehicle. I like electric vehicles. I think there's a really important purpose for electric vehicles, especially, you have different kinds of vehicles. Many people themselves, they have a pickup truck to do work and haul things around, and you have an SUV for the kids and for equipment, and you have a smaller car maybe for commuting. Well, electrics can be the same way. If you commute and you don't commute a long distance to work, then the electric cars would be fantastic. You plug in at night, you charge your car up, you go to work, you come back, and it's great. It's quiet, it's efficient, and you just plug in again. If, however, you're going on long trips, if you have a long commute, or you may have to take off and go on long trips, then you're subject to a couple of things. Number one, public charging stations. Public charging stations are expensive. There's no uniform price for public charging stations, nor should there be. It's just like a company offering a service or goods and services. They can determine the price. So if someone sets up a public charging station that people can use, they set the cost, and whoever wants to use it can decide if they want to take advantage of that service or not. Again, very expensive at the public charging stations. It's probably cheaper to gas up your ICE vehicle. That's number one. Number two, the infrastructure right now cannot support electric vehicles. We have a small amount of electric vehicles in the fleet in the United States right now, and even so, California within the past couple weeks is running short of power because of the heat wave. So they're telling people not to turn their air conditioners up too high. They're telling people not to charge their electric vehicles at certain times of the day. That's only with a small percentage of vehicles on the road as electrics. What happens when they totally convert, as California has decided to do? California has said no more purchasing of internal combustion engines starting in 2035. Are they increasing the infrastructure? No, I think they're actually decreasing the electric infrastructure and the grid, because they're taking fossil fuel generating stations offline, and they're trying to go to renewables, solar and wind, and it just can't support it. So we're not ready for this. Again, I say let the market decide. Start to offer electric vehicles so that people can decide and take advantage of the features of an electric vehicle versus a gas vehicle. The other thing is, today's gas vehicles are very, very clean. For those of you that are old enough to recall the late 60s, early 70s, if you start up those cars, even if they're well tuned, you can smell the exhaust. Your eyes would even start to burn if you were like in a garage and your car was running with the garage door open, hopefully. But in any event, now you can practically stick your head in an exhaust pipe of a new internal combustion engine vehicle and you don't really smell anything. They are PZEVs compared to the old vehicles, practically zero-emission vehicles. They're very clean. We've gotten here after years of technology advancements and fuel injection and computer-run vehicles and engines. So they are clean. It's great. So another reason why we don't need to rush into electric vehicles and really, cut off our nose to spite our face. So those are my thoughts on the new Dodge e-Muscle and transitioning away from internal combustion engines. I'm not happy about it. Dying to know what you think about it, so please make your comments below. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the notification bell for future videos, and also like this video. It definitely helps. Thanks again for joining. We'll see you next time. Take care.